Back with you this evening at another district town hall. This evening we are going to focus strictly on our building project. We will obviously update the community as far as how our current project is going, but then we're also going to talk about maybe next steps in phase 2 of building improvement, facility improvement at Paynesville area schools. It's a pleasure to be back with you. I was not here for the March district town hall, so it's enjoyable to be back. Just a reminder, as we do this once a month, your questions are more than welcome. If you have a question as we're going through any of the information associated with the building project, by all means, submit those questions. I will do my best to try to answer all the questions that I can. If for some reason I miss a question or skip over one, I will certainly go back and try and figure out what that question was, get the answer out in another form. But as I said, today we're going to focus just strictly on facility project. Obviously, we have a large facility project that is going on at the secondary building right now. Earlier in the year, we finished up boiler replacements in both buildings. So we're going to focus mostly on the remaining building project that's happening right now. So let's go to some of the photos. So as you're looking here, this would be kind of in the lobby space, atrium space of the new community center. As this photo is taken, you are facing west, which is going to be the main entrance to the building once the project is done. You can see a little bit of the clear story glass that's in the scope of the project. Really lets in a lot of natural light into that entryway. Again, this is kind of the steps that they went through. You could see that aluminum wall storefront that they're putting up. They're in the process in this photo. They were actually just in the process of placing the glass panels in that. So this would be on the inside of the vestibule as you enter from the west parking lot into the community center. As you step outside, and now we're basically going to be, this photo is taken from a location that'll be part of the new parking lot that's going to go in hopefully here in early June after school's out. You're looking to the east and you can see the canopy, that steel structure with the two cement pillars at the base. That's the canopy that's going to be the protect people from the elements at the main entrance. The office space immediately to the left, that's our future home of community education. I've had a couple of questions. You've seen a lot of glass work happen on the community center gymnasium portion. All that glass work is complete, but we still don't have windows in our community ed offices. That is planned and that's designed. They have some brickwork that needs to take place, and so once the masons are back out to do the brickwork, they'll be able to add those windows. So here's standing underneath that canopy. You can just see they've got the core framing components to it, and this picture was taken as they were continuing to add the final framing pieces that we'll see, I think, next. And you can see now, if you look up on that canopy, you can see all the framing components that are on there. That canopy will be lit. So it in the dusk and evening, it'll be nicely lit. And then they were just starting to also work on the main entrance that actually faces or abuts up to this canopy as well. As you step into this space, now once we're up and operational, during the school day, like I say, I do anticipate that this will be a main entrance, this west entrance. During the school day, the building will be secure like it currently is. And so you're going to have an option that when you come into the building, you're going to need to either go into the community ed office or be buzzed in the community ed office in order to access the actual building. Of course, there's going to be the key card access for fitness center members. You'll be able to have an entrance where you don't necessarily need to go in through the community ed building. But you can see they're doing painting in there. That bulldog green was on the backdrop color. They're working on ceiling, putting in the ceiling grid, finishing up the insulation of ductwork. And then after they get the ceiling grid in, then the crew moves in and they start actually placing the light panels and our smoke detectors, our air returns, and all the vent work that needs to be in the ceiling as well. Here's one of the office spaces that's going to be community ed, and you can see it still has the plastic on the window. These are actually the windows we saw when we were looking from the outside at the canopy. Those windows are on site. They're scheduled for some install later in the spring. As you look up at this clear story, this will be the high ceiling when you come in. Again, it was planned to have a lot of glass on that high ceiling in order to welcome in as much natural sunlight and daylight as you can to light the space. The atrium and the lobby space is going to have more of an industrial look. You will see the exposed joists. You'll also see the ductwork is going to be exposed as well, so it'll have more of that industrial look to it. This photo here is actually looking to the south. As you look, you can see where that ticket reception area is going to be. Behind that open window behind it goes into the group exercise room. Behind that is the new cardio room. And then you would eventually get to the existing fitness center. That gives you some orientation. This, I believe, is the men's restroom that was in install. They started with the tile work, and you can see they're just getting started with some ceiling grid layout at the top of this photo. And then as next step was to continue that ceiling work. Both of these restrooms are really coming along. I kind of get a kick out of this photo. This is the women's restroom. There, I believe, are 16 fixtures in there. And it just seems odd to me when you are in the process of installing those fixtures in restroom to see those all up without the partitions and stuff. So that was in process. Here's the hand washing sink station in one of the restrooms as well. And then just recently, they actually got all of the partitions up as well. So this would be the partitions in the women's restroom, and then you see the partitions as well that are in the men's restroom. The multi-purpose room, wrestling room, is actually very close to completion. In this photo, you can see that this is a bare concrete floor. The ceiling's painted. Again, you can see the exposed ductwork. That'll be a common theme throughout. The floor that's put in here is actually a drop floor. So it's actually a series of floors. The first one that butts up to that cement base actually has these foam blocks that provided some additional give and absorb some impact, so it can be used for a safe wrestling room space. This was midway through, and then as they finished that subfloor that went down with the first layer of those foam blocks, they go over it again with a second layer of plywood. And then obviously the next step there is to install those mats. Looking at those mats, I know that as you look and kind of maybe get close with your eye, you might say, how are the wrestling mats going to go in there? Those mats are actually spaced off of that floor, just to allow that wrestling mat to sneak underneath those wall mats once they are laid out in the floor and installed. So that multi-purpose, that wrestling room is for the most part complete. Here's just a glimpse into the mezzanine. One of the things that the design of this space did is it brought all of our HVAC equipment inside. So we do not have rooftop units, for instance, like on the gymnasium. All of the mechanical equipment that feeds that large gymnasium space, those are all inside units, air handling units, which should provide us, obviously, a safe environment to run them and hopefully maximize their life expectancy as well. When you get into that community center gymnasium, you can see there's the stainless steel ductwork is all around that space. It is exposed. This was a photo that was taken a couple weeks ago now because they had just hung the scoreboards that you can see in this photo. The doors that are in the corner of that community center, that gymnasium, those doors are exit only. They'll be emergency exits only. They will not have fixtures or anything or handles on them in order to be used as an entrance. They'll just be exit doors only. Moving along then, you can take a look at some of the block work. So this is one of the kind of neat spaces. So if those of you that were fitness center members, you would remember the little cardio room that was in the fitness center. As you're looking at this photo, the cinder block wall that is in the shape of a door on the left-hand side, that actually was the door that went from the large fitness center into the small cardio room. So kind of give you some orientation, this photo, you're kind of standing in the old cardio room, and now you're taking a photo into the new automotive shop. This is one of the reasons why we added the cardio space into the addition and part of the project, is because this old cardio space was actually now going to become CTE space. So this will work as a passage between the auto shop and the metals shop. In fact, there will be the capacity and the ability to share equipment. If there's, for instance, welding equipment that may be able to be used in the auto shop, will be accessible through this passage. The other neat thing that passage is going to allow us to do is it's really going to open up the automotive shop and the large 3-bay doors that will allow easy delivery of materials. You could actually come in through the automotive shop and you could bring something all the way from the automotive shop down to, say, the ag space via a forklift if you needed to, or if you wanted to, you would have that capability because all of those spaces would be connected. Here again, now we're standing in the auto shop. You can see the cabinetry that is installed. So this is the one kind of the auto shop sits, it's orientated like an L. So this is off of the long side of the L, shoots out into what will be like a direct instruction space. There will obviously be plenty of storage for equipment. Those lower cabinets will also have some storage here where we will be able to store small engines to be able to use those for small engine courses. But this is kind of the direct instruction space of the automotive shop and the cabinetry that's in there. So next steps, a couple things that I just want to talk about. Obviously, the current construction project, the contract due for that construction project is August 13th. That is the date in which contractors have to turn the property back over to the school district. So the intent is that everything will be up and running for fall activities. I believe those are slated to start on Monday, August 16th. Statewide. So the intent will be to have all of that addition ready to go day one of activities. Couple things of note, there's going to be an open house. Obviously, we are still trying to figure out how to have an open house and what that looks like, particularly in today's world of COVID and precautions. And so we are still working on that. The goal, the district would really like to see an open house happen in early August. I think a lot of that is going to be determined by when we can actually occupy the space. I'm not obviously a construction person, but the progress that they're making has been really impressive. And I'm really hopeful that potentially we might actually be able to get access and occupancy of that space prior to that August 13th timeline, which would allow us to be able to offer a open house for our community. The other thing the district has, we have some other buildings and grounds projects that are still in the works. So the other piece of this construction project, so the first component was really the boiler replacement. Both boilers at the elementary school were completely removed and replaced with newer technology. One of the boilers at the secondary building was also removed and replaced with newer technology. And then obviously we had the large construction project that is currently going on. The next phase to this is to tackle the indoor air quality project at the elementary school. So the district is going to be finalizing what the scope and design of that project will look like, with the idea that the district would then be going out for bids for those indoor air quality projects at the elementary school this fall, this winter, in order to be able to turn around and have a June of 2022 project kickoff date. Now that's going to be a significant date for our district because the elementary school is used quite a bit during the summer. The reality is next summer, the summer of 2022, there's a really good chance that most of the programming that happens at the elementary school in the summer will probably need to come over to the secondary building. Nothing has been finalized with that yet, but just given the scope of the indoor air quality project and really how we can accomplish that scope in an efficient manner by getting contractors out and allow them to be able to start a project and work it all the way through to the end. It really is a comprehensive project that will really require the elementary school to be, for the most part, vacant in the summer of 2022. So more details will come out on that, but just know that during the summer of 2022, realistically, programming at the elementary school probably is going to come over to the secondary building, and then there will be extensive indoor air quality project that's going to happen at the elementary school. The other thing I just want to throw out as far as the facility project, as I said, I referenced a couple of times, the project is really going well with as far as timeline. We've been really fortunate as far as construction days. We haven't had weather interruptions. Even kicking off this project, it was kind of a little bit of the unknown because we were just entering into this pandemic world and didn't really know how that was going to impact delivery of materials and goods. And we've been really fortunate. We've been able to hit all our major milestones. And the good news is the project is on time. I'm optimistic, but I really think the district is going to take occupancy of that project sooner than that August 13th date. We'll see. I hope I'm right on that. The other side of it, the finances are also important. The project remains on budget. The district is actually going to be able to finish the project within the budget and the scope that was talked about prior to the August of 2019 bond referendum in order to fund that project. So it's really been a pleasure to be able to work with a variety of contractors that are able to not only keep a project on time, but also able to keep a project within the costs and scope or expectations that the district had going into it. So those are both good things. I just want to remind anyone, if you have a question, by all means, you can submit it. I would certainly try my best to answer. Please look forward to open house information. We are eagerly anticipating the ability to have an open house in such a manner that all of our community would be able to come and not only tour, but see exactly what's all in the project and how it's going to be implemented and used on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. So we will get more information out to the community as we get closer and know more as far as when we can have an open house for our community. With that, I don't see any questions this evening. We will continue with facility project updates as we move through the spring here. Expect the next one probably in June. And I think that